Hello, good evening and welcome to Gran Torino. A couple of things happened this week. There was a bit of a follow-up on the FGM video that I made up. A couple had to face trial accused of genital mutilation of the daughter at their home in Dublin. They went before the courts and they were given a bond or a bail of €300. Passports were removed. But it's the first. There's 5,999 other unreported cases of children that have been mutilated. And I have to say it in graphic terms, it's not a religious ceremony, it's not, obviously it's done in the context of a religious ceremony, but in essence it's mutilation of a child. Painful, barbarous mutilation of a child. And we as a society, Irish society, have to forbid this and protect these children. We fought tooth and nail, ye fought tooth and nail for the children's rights. Legislation that came in. That's a subject for another video, as in relations to what we're doing to the Constitution. By making these adjustments to the Constitution, we are changing the fabric of our society. And I think more constitutional lawyers need to get on board with that and stop the flow. I mean, the next one we have now is the 8th Amendment, repealing the 8th. Drifting off a little bit from the FGM. My personal opinion, my personal beliefs, I'm pro-choice and I'm pro-life. It's a difficult situation. I compare it to spinning plates. Let's spin a plate. One on the go here. Pro-choice. Let's spin off another one. 2 plates on the go here now. Pro-choice, pro-life. I can hold the two similar concepts in my head, but the screaming, hang on, let me just spin this one and keep these two concepts going. Pro-choice, I mean, a woman's autonomy over her own body goes without question, but it does have to be questioned, because when you have a cell, or when you have cells and you become pregnant, it's, in my book and in my opinion, it's an unbroken spectrum from conception to deliverance, to the birth of a child. There's no markers, there's nothing to say that, oh, all of a sudden, now we're a human being, or 2 weeks later, we're just a cluster of cells. It's easy in your mind to formulate it all the way through as a cluster of cells and a non-entity and a non-thinking. And I've, hang on, let me just turn the plate to keep these plates going. You can't just let them spin in a row. An undivided spectrum. When does life begin, and when is it okay to terminate a life? To me, it's killing. It is murder. It's murder of a human being. And it said, well, it's a woman's right to decide what she does with her own body. Yeah, but when you become pregnant, you become a mother. You're elevated from just from a woman. You become a mother. And I'm not gonna. That's me spinning the plates. I'm not gonna. It goes without saying, rape, incest, the usual bits and pieces. They're out there, they're on the periphery, they're 1 or 2%, but they're another part of the conversation. But at what stage does these cells become a human life? Back to pro-life, as I say, there's the pro-life part. It's an unbroken spectrum in my opinion. There's no markers, there's nothing to say. It's all of a sudden it's a human being. There was a video came out during the week, many of you might have seen it. It was a little fetus on a table and it was being prodded with a set of scissors. And literally, I mean, I think it was 12 or 13 weeks old, pea size, but it had formed a head, it formed arms, it had legs, had the umbilical cord sticking out of it. And in the video, it was being prodded or pushed and goaded with the scissors. It's wiping its hands. I know that's instinctual and it's a reaction, but there's brain mass, there's eyes being formed, there's nose. 12 weeks, that's getting yanked out. Good luck. No, that's not right. We need to have more nuanced conversation. We need to engage. We can't just repeal the 8th, boom. Because I don't know if you're aware, if we repeal the 8th, we go back to 1984 legislation. And that's just going to open a floodgates of third-party abortion clinics jumping all over, waiting to come in. And you'll have no gestation period. You'll have unfettered abortion from late terms to early. And then another argument to it, it can be used as a lifestyle choice, as in contraception. For pro-choice, you have choices. Contraception, abstention, adoption. There's 3 off the top of my head. They're choices you can make. You know, you have your period. You can have MAPS, the morning after pill. You can go to any chemist and have that straight away if you have concerns over that you become pregnancy. Why let it develop? You know, obviously, and I'm not gonna hang on, just catch these plates. Obviously, I'm not talking about the incest and the rape and the further things. We need to come together as a society and clarify this. Just by pulling this 8th Amendment out and without doing any due diligence and replacing it, why not replace it with something that we can all conform to? Why not have a national conversation? A national conversation about what it aims to be. Let's have critical thinking. Let's have a nuanced conversation, fors and against. Let's come together. Let's not just bombard our streets with posters and headlines and trying to grab attention. And you know, who is the national facilitator to have this national debate? Fuck the late. Fuck that skinny little gimp. Can't stand watching him or any of the propaganda states. But we do need to have that conversation, and whoever facilitates that, I will. That skipped me off a little bit from FGM. The couple who are from an East African country listened to proceedings via an interpreter and swore on the Quran. It means fuck all in a court of law. The Quran is only viable to Muslims in a Sharia court, not in a secular court. They don't even recognise that. And in their mind, I mean, what twisted logic do you think, just because they swear on the Quran, the unfiltered truth is coming out? Have we heard of taqiyya? Anybody understand the terminology of taqiyya? Little aside from that. If you want to come back at me on anything I'm talking about FGM, I have a couple of words. I mean, if you're coming into the comment section, you want to say things. Dimi, Kafur, Taqiyya, Taharush, Dar al-Islam, Kafurs, Dimi, Ummah, the Hijra. If you can understand any of these concepts, then you can come at me. But if you don't know anything like that, don't just blanket start attacking me and defending a religion that you clearly know nothing about. Read the books, read the hadiths, read the Siras, read the Quran. I especially recommend The Reliance of the Traveller. Get to know Muhammad. Understand Muhammad's life. And I will say one thing, I've been dilly-dallying thinking about this. I would accept Islam in this country if it abrogated from the Median Quran and went back to the Meccan Quran. In the Meccan Quran there was 12 years of peace and love, and Muhammad was a peaceful prophet. And then he upscaled over to Medina, read the books, read the things, and Islam then becomes a political philosophy. And the Median Quran is a blueprint for how to promote and further the cause of Islam through taqiyya. I keep saying taqiyya. Read it, understand it, look for that word. Taharush I threw in there. That's going to be prevalent on New Year's Eve. You might hear stuff coming out of Sweden. Look towards Sweden. Sweden's billionaire class have fucking destroyed that country, and they're doing it for a purpose. Which leads me on succinctly, as I would say, to what's going on this week. I mean, if you aren't aware of what's going on this week, the big revolution that's going on in the world, QAnon. Look towards Q. Different websites. There's a Reddit site, CBTS. Go look at that stream. Go look at what the Clinton Foundation. Look to Charles Ortel on YouTube and his writings. He's done backgrounds on the Clinton Foundation. They've never registered as a charity. First registered in New York way back in the day. Initially sent up as a Clinton presidential library, and then it went well beyond it means. I mean, it should have just been a library to hold information, and then it morphed into the Clinton Health Initiative, the Clinton Foundation. These are Ponzi schemes. These are pay for play, park your money when we're in government. I'm going to say these things now because the coming storm is coming, and I firmly believe Hillary Clinton is now walking around with a tag on her leg. And I hope that evil bitch, I mean, I don't want to come harm, but if 1/10 of the crimes, the suspected crimes that Clinton and other billionaire class, and our billionaires have paid into the Clinton Health Foundation as well, and they need to be looked at. Were they aware of any of these heinous crimes? I mean, I have a grasp or concept of it. I've heard grown men quiver in their voices because they're even more aware of the crimes. I'm talking human trafficking. I'm talking ritual sacrifices. The barbarism of it all, I can only imagine. But that's coming. That's just a little teaser. I just wanted to do a follow-up on last week's with the FGM. Obviously, the couple were released on bail. They gave up their passports and they were released on €300 bail. I don't know what the follow-up's going to be, but that's one case after a year's investigation. 5,999. I keep saying it. 5,999 other cases. I'm sure most of them are being investigated. But we need to have another nuanced conversation about the influx of what's happening in our country. We're tied in with the Marxist Brussels, open borders, the Schengen Agreement. It's morphing into a super state, starting to form its own army. The PESCO Agreement. Did we have a chat on that? Did Leo just sign us up to become part of a national army? We're neutral. We don't engage. We don't engage anything. We need to reinforce our neutrality. Bring our forces back home. Bring our forces back home to monitor Ireland. I would love to get out of Europe. I'm branching off, but that's, I'm prone to do these things. Get the fuck out of Europe. Reinforce the taxes, the 12.5 corporation tax. Makes ourselves more competitive. Public services could be improved if reformed. Increased funding will not deal with corruption while increasing taxes. National security. Ensure immigration, visa, asylum laws are not abused. They're clearly being abused. We've got paper passports being issued to people. The war is over in Syria. There's Christmas is being celebrated in Syria. We don't need refugees. We don't need to start opening these things up. A key phrase that was put out in another video I posted out there of a committee meeting in the Dáil, and one of the one of the commentaries was from an NGO, a non-government organisation, that in his words clearly said that demography is destiny. Demography is destiny. And people from Africa are coming. They're coming, and we should have an open mind. They're not coming. They're being shipped out. They're being shipped across by our Navy. Our Navy is going across to Libya, picking them up 11 miles off the coast of Libya, and transferring them to Italy. Not bringing them back to Ireland from the Irish Navy, but bringing them over to Italy and dumping them in Italy, and that's Italy's problem. Italy is swamped. Europe is under a quiet invasion. It's an invasion, because in my mind, unfettered access like this, they're coming to live off the welfare state. It's welfare promotion, and it's Marxism in all its thing. Let's have a look at Marxism. Marxism, to my understanding, uses critical theory. Critical theory. This is the box. Everything else doesn't exist, and this is our box of understanding. This is Marxism. Equality of outcome. Not equality of opportunity, but equality of outcome. Everything is equal. All cultures are equal. Multiculturalism. It doesn't work. It's failing in front of our eyes. And we here in Ireland have a chance to dampen it down and slow the process and save ourselves a little bit. We can shut the borders. We can close our borders, and we can stop taking an influx of refugees. I believe the west of Ireland is being in flux. There's a Ballyhonus came out, 40% Irish, and it's been overtaken. And look at the demography. Like I'm understanding kids and families, but look at the demography. That whole town is going to be subsumed in decades to come, and it's gone. And is the ethos of Irishness and Irishness being taught, and are they integrating well? I can appreciate the kids are probably integrating well. Well, I'm damn sure the parents are bringing their own societies, they're bringing their own levels of education, their own levels of understanding, and reinforcing them. We know ghettos are being formed out in Tyrrellstown here in Dublin. Balbriggan is a mess. 1,000 concerned parents out in the Garda station, slightly unreported by our media over here. But there's gangs of gangs of kids, gangs of youths fighting each other, and then coming and going around fighting other groups of kids. It's a little bit chaotic, a little bit weary, wishy-washy, but I just wanted to get something out there tormenting me. I'm not here looking to do anything. I want to thank all the comments and contributors from the last video. Words of encouragement. I'm going to keep ficking around with this, but just to wind up, just prepare yourself for the coming storm. And I kid say it that way because there's going to be prosecutions, there's going to be stuff in the media. Maybe our media mightn't cover it. They're tied in with the Bilderberg groups, our telecom tycoon, shall we say, for fear of not getting sued the bollocks. And all our other billionaire class have contributed to the Clinton Foundation and all its other proxies. Watch this. It's going to be graphic. It's going to be horrific. It's going to be like nothing that any of us have ever experienced. I mean, if you're following it and you're aware of it, then you're excited as I am, because the whole edifice is going to crumble. Brussels will fall. Mark my words. Europe will fall. There's tough times ahead for Ireland. We need to have them tough conversations, and we need somebody to facilitate these conversations. We need critical thinking, not critical theory. Critical thinking. Two sides to every argument. Understand the hypotheses, understand the argument, come together, try and reach a consensus, and then we can move forward as a society. That's all I'm going to say for now. Try and keep it in one short burst and one short little burst while we progress. Thank you very much. Slán.